Hello, let's start with our last section. This will be a mix of different things that were missing in the previous sections, but I wanted you to know about. We start our little roundup with a few legally motivated considerations, then we advance to more general concepts you should keep in mind, and then we have a look at development practices or experiences. Next we have a look at things that help you to build your application, and the next logical step is the deployment of your code. As last topic we revisit monitoring, and it's time to say goodbye. As promised, we start with some topics regarding legal implications or considerations. We start by having a quick look at the Cloud Act that has been passed in the US and its impact on the world. Then I will introduce a German word to you, Datensparsamkeit. You will be amazed. And as last topic, we will talk about the GDPR and the right to be forgotten and similar laws or rights. Let's start with something that was passed in March 2018, the so-called Cloud Act, which allows any US law enforcement official, this can be a police officer that stopped you for jaywalking or a clerk at a small court in a tiny town, to access data about you on any server that is owned or operated by a US company anywhere in the world. By international agreements, even foreign governments or sometimes even corporations can request your data. The law was passed as answer to Microsoft not providing data about a potential criminal, where the data was stored in Ireland and the US didn't want to go through the proper channels or were blocked by the EU or Ireland. That's not publicized. What does that mean for us non-US citizens? Well, basically, you shouldn't put sensitive data on servers that are operated by US companies, which means that the public cloud offerings of Amazon and Google shouldn't be used in this case. If you are working for a US-based company, it doesn't matter because you have no protection against that anyway. The problem is that you are not informed about the warrant, so the hosting company will have to provide all data as it doesn't know what is stored where, which will lead to problems because the data of people or companies that are not targeted are copied as well in the process. To protect against that, strong encryption should be used on all connections that go in and out. And also you might want to encrypt all your data as far as possible. Now something more positive and less depressing. In Germany we have the word Datensparsamkeit, which means that you don't save data that is not necessary. And it's rooted in our privacy laws that we have for quite a long time now. It's a good idea, especially nowadays, to not save data you don't need, because when there is a data breach, for example, this data can't be stolen and you're not liable for it. In the Second World War, the Nazis took over the Netherlands and were very pleased that the government had ledgers where they noted which citizens were gay, which was not illegal in the Netherlands, but the Nazis used that to send them to death camps. Just because things seem harmless now doesn't mean that they can't be used against you or your users anywhere in the later future. The EU passed the GDPR in 2016. But as usual, only shortly before it got into effect in 2018, the IT scene went crazy and tried to implement the necessary changes mostly in a hurry. If you don't design your software with these requirements in mind, you might get into trouble, and even if you're not located in the EU, just one EU customer is enough and you have to be compliant. Of course, if you practice Datensparsamkeit, you have less things to worry about. But in times where data is the new gold, this may be something that is hard to argue to some stakeholders.